Speaking of like patch notes, that reminded me of something I happened upon recently.
Oh, right,
Which
okay.
was, have you ever heard the thing of Sims 3 patch notes?
I mean, I understand what patch notes are, but I don't know specifically about Sims.
Well, The Sims 3 apparently has the funniest ones in the world because of just how much stuff can happen in the game. So I've got like a collection of a few here that I thought I'd read out because, yeah, I happened upon them during my internet travels and just laughed my ass off. So,
okay, fair enough.
So this was like by Bone Wagon on Tumblr. You know, that used to be a website where you could get porn, but now it's just a relic of a bygone age.
Now it's just there for patch notes on The Sims, I guess.
Yeah, so here's a couple for you, Lucas. Kleptomaniac Sims can no longer steal subway stations from lots.
God.
Sims can no longer woohoo in the elevator with a Sim who is on a different floor. The Grim Reaper...
so they were just like having sex with different, people on different fucking floors.
Through different dimensions. Dimensional portals own it, just Janembering their way through dimensional portals to have sex with other Sims. The Grim Reaper will no longer be prevented from reaping souls due to band affiliation. So, you like Metallica? That band's cool.
Oh, okay.
Fixed a tuning issue so that Sims will now vomit at acceptable levels. It is no longer possible to try for baby with the Grim Reaper. Become enemies with child wish no longer appears when rubbing magical lamp. Sims who are on fire will no longer be forced to attend graduation before they can put themselves out. Pregnant Sims can no longer brawl.
Oh god, no.
Baby Sims will no longer become stuck on a Sim's hand while driving a car. Sims can no longer wish to skinny dip with mummies.
Oh no.
And finally, a meteor can hit a building, which case everyone will run out before the collision. Those who do not exit the building will die. Sims will automatically leave if a meteor is approaching, unless it is a school, in which children are not allowed to leave and will always die.
Oh no.
Education is the most serious thing in the Sims universe. You're on fire? No, you graduate, motherfucker. Then you put yourself out.
Oh god, and then after you've just put your fucking self out and hit graduation, no, you can't leave. Meteor's about to hit. Sorry.
Would you like some new ones, Lucas?
Oh, go on then.
Oh god, right. So, fixes a bug that causes Sims to teleport off some new beds.
Okay.
Fixes an issue that causes Sims to get stuck in the grab a slice interaction on pizza. Fixes an issue, the fulfillment of the buy video game system, which when buying the GeoGeo Joy Toy 3 Console 2 video game system, Sims may walk and stand on bridges. Dead relatives will no longer appear alive in your Sims family tree while travelling to Egypt. Fire engines will maintain all functionality after Sims drive them. Sims will no longer walk on water to view paintings placed on swimming pool walls. Fix an issue where ghosts would become stuck in vehicles under certain conditions. Ghosts will now properly exit vehicles after arriving at their destination. Oh, yeah, that's something so amazing.
Oh, God.
Oh, what else we got? That one's amazing.
I'd be terrified to get a new bed, though. If there was just a chance to teleport to some random location.
Yeah, and then it's just the same one. Oh, we've got some new ones here. Oh, no, wait, that's... yeah. No, that's the Dwarf Fortress one. Apparently Dwarf Fortress beats it, but I don't really understand that game.
I don't know, no.
But I love that one, though. It's so good. It's just... It is no longer possible to steal subway cars. So that's kleptomania on a level I can't even fathom.
Yeah.
I must steal subway cars.
I mean, fair play to them.
So
do you think they get all the way home before anyone notices?
Yeah. Would you ever hear about a guy who stole a bridge?
In real life?
Yeah, they stole a bridge. They went to it overnight and just took it apart for all the steel. And just stole it. And the next day, the villagers are like, someone stole our bridge. And they never found out who did it.
If you can steal a fucking bridge... Fair play. You've earned that.
My favourite crime of all time is the Cookie Rustler. You ever heard about this?
No?
Because every part of this story is amazing. I'll try and recount it as best I can. Basically, there was a guy who owned like a store, so it's like a little mom and pop shop, so he owned it outright. But every single day, all the cookies in his shop would be crunched because someone walked in and grabbed the packet of cookies and crunched all the biscuits individually in the packet on every single piece of on every single packet of cookies that he had, and then did it to all his bread as well.
What?
And Lucas, like, if this happened once, you'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
If this happened twice, you'd be annoyed. And if this happened 3 times, you know it's a pattern. And what would you do?
I mean, I'd get like fucking security cameras.
Or pay someone to stand near the cookie aisle.
Yeah, true.
Right? Now, do you know how long this guy let this go on for before he decided to do something about it?
I'm going to guess a ridiculous amount of
2
time.
years.
2 years?
He let it happen for 2 years before he finally decided to get a video camera to figure out who was doing it. It was happening literally every single day. Surely at that point, just look for the guy who comes in every day and spends 3 hours in the cookie section.
Yeah.
But no, he waited 2 years to try and figure out who was doing it. Like
What?
every
Jesus
single
Christ.
day, someone was walking in and crushing all his cookies, and he's like, "I don't know what to do." So how about you just go stand in the move the cookies to the front of the till.
Yeah.
And it's like the guy says, I estimate I've lost like $12,000 in inventory by doing this. It's like, well, after I'd lost $5,000 of inventory, I consider investing in a security camera. I wouldn't then lose another $5,000 and then $2,000 on top of that. I thought, okay, now it's getting serious.
Yeah.
It's clear this guy's not going to stop.
I mean, yeah, after like a week, you'd notice it was going to be a fucking trend and start doing something about it.
Like, it's just so good. The fact the guy waited for so long is amazing.
Oh, God.
And I think it was like the guy's called like the cookie rustler, which makes it even better.
Oh, dear.
Just walking in and just crunching all his cookies and bread. He's such a dick move in it.
I wonder, like, whatever convinced, like, the person to ever come in and do that.
It must have just been like, I guess it started as just like a joke and then it became an obsession. It's like there's another story here. I want to get the details for this one because it's this story is actually amazing. Phantom.
Like, at what point do you think to yourself, I should probably stop? Like, did someone like invite him on holiday and he's like, oh, sorry, mate, like I can't be gone for like a week. I've got these cookies to rustle.
I've got to go crunch the cookies. Well, here's one. Right? This is another one of my like favourite stories, and this is a guy in Norway at the Stavanger Golf Club, which it's described here as a scenic waterside course in Havrestad. Oh, sorry, Havrestad. Okay. I don't know how to pronounce Norwegian words. Basically, it's in Norway and it's nice.
Yeah.
And there is a guy who no one knows who he is, and all he does is he goes in on a night and he takes a shit in the holes.
Oh.
At this golf course. And according to the groundskeeper, he has a couple of favourite holes. And they know it's a man because the poos are too massive to be from a woman. That's a direct quote. Other than that, they know nothing about this man. And they have tried to catch him by installing high-powered lights, but no video cameras for some reason.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, they installed high-powered lights. He climbed a tree next to the lights and wriggled far out on a branch and dismantled the spotlights. How he managed to feat without electrocuting himself is a riddle. Would you want to have a guess at how long he's been doing this for? And this is as of 2015.
2015? A year?
Keep going.
2 years?
Keep going.
Like 5 years?
Keep going.
Fuck off, really?
Keep going, Lucas.
Like 8 years?
Keep going. Just a little bit more.
10?
10 years, yes. There is a guy, and I think he's still doing it, because I remember seeing an update on this like a couple of months ago. But this is like an article from 2015.
Yeah.
For decades, a guy has just been sneaking and breaking into a golf course to take a shit in the holes. Seemingly for no reason.
Oh my God.
And apparently the groundskeeper was just so annoyed. So it's like every now and again, you just wake up and there's just a big poo.
Oh no.
And there's nothing you could do about it. And it reminds me of, like, I hope this is a true story. It's like on an Ask Reddit thing. Which obviously you can't trust everything that's written here, but the way it was written seemed like a real story. It was basically like some guy's dad got fucked over by a homeowners association when he was trying to move.
Oh, right, okay.
And the guy was like, oh no, your lawn's like too long and stuff like that. If you ever heard any stories about like homeowners association in America, they can be terrible.
Yeah.
After they moved, the dad got so annoyed that every couple of weeks he'd just like drive in the dead of night to the leader of the homeowners association and just take a perfect shit on his manicured lawn. Just every couple of weeks he'd just go out for a drive, and they asked him when he was going. I'm going to shit on that guy's lawn.
Oh God.
And he just do it, and apparently the dad did it for years. Just every now and again, he's like he wouldn't do it enough where it was like irregularity, but every now and again would just go out and just take a perfect shit on his lawn. So like, not enough that the guy would get install cameras for it, but enough that it annoys him.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you do it once, it'd annoy him, I'd hope.
But like every couple of weeks, and there's just something about that level of just pettiness that I deeply, deeply respect.
I mean, that's the thing is, if somebody's pissed you off that much that you are going out in the dead of night to take a dump
shit on their lawn.
Oh God.
It becomes an obsession after a certain point. That's how crop circles started, don't you know?
What do you mean that's how they started?
Crop circles started because it was an obsession. Like the story behind this, I forget the names of the guys, but literally it was two guys were out having a pint in the south of England, and one of them just said, "Oh, do you want?" Like walked up to the top of like a hill, with like they got a couple of bottles for the walk, and they walked to the top and they sat on a bench, and they noticed a farmer planting a load of corn, and like one friend turns to the other one and says, "Do you want to have a bit of fun?" And he wasn't suggesting a threesome because he wasn't a YouTuber. But he said, and they decided that when that corn had grown, they would come down and they would flatten the wheat into a pattern to confuse people. And it's amazing because, like, if you ever heard like the stories about crop circles, like you hear like, they're made by aliens because they're too perfect to be done by people. So I'll bring up because I wrote an article about this. I'll bring this up so we can go through the facts on it. Because the actual facts about it are like hilarious. So I'm going to find the dudes' names first. So it's Doug Bauer and Dave Chorley.
Oh, right, okay.
And it was something they began in the 1970s. And what they did is they went out with, and you probably heard like, oh man, crop circles, like they're caused by aliens because they're too perfect. They're too perfect to be done by humans. They can only be done by someone who can see from above.
Yeah.
It's like, no, what the guy did is like he was an engineer or something in the past, like before he retired.
Oh,
and he would
right.
just basically make them on a piece of paper and go out with like surveying equipment, and then, and I'm not making this up, with a plank of wood attached to a piece of string.
What?
He would just like place it on the bottom of the wheat and then slowly press it down with his foot to flatten it.
Oh, God.
And then he would just walk around in a circle doing that. And the only thing he had to line up his things was, and I'm not making this up, a baseball cap through which he put a small hoop of wire.
Oh my God.
So they did that.
This is commitment.
And what they did, and they did this for 20 years.
Oh my God.
And they got such a laugh out of it. They started suggesting, or they started going to ufologists and experts saying, "Oh, we've got a big feeling there might be a crop circle in this field at this exact time tomorrow evening. Go look and check it out." And they would go in like the day before and put the crop circle there, and then all the ufologists would turn up.
I mean, at that point, would you not start to, be a bit suspicious?
No,
that these guys magically know.
Apparently, no one ever got suspicious, and they were actually highly regarded in the ufologist community for their seeming just knowledge of when UFOs would do this. And the best part is, do you know why they eventually came clean and went, "Look, it's us. We've been doing it." It's because the guy was driving out in the middle of the night, so this is why it reminded me of it, to do this with his mate, and his wife thought he was having an affair.
Oh, really?
And then when he said, "No, I'm just going out with my mate to flatten wheat in a farmer's field," his wife's like, "You are clearly making that up."
Yeah.
And what he did to his wife is he showed her all the equipment, and he said, "That's a plank of wood." And he went, "No, here's the drawings I've done." And she went, "No." He went, "Okay then, I'll design you a pattern, and I'll go out and I'll do it tonight, and then go look. We'll drive to the field tomorrow to see it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what he did is he drew his wife a pattern, and I think she suggested it, and they went out and he showed her it, and she went, "Oh wow, this is cool." He went, "We should probably come clean now." And she went, "Yeah." But my favourite part is because they were so keen to make people think it was aliens because they found it so hilarious that when actual skeptics came out and said, "Well, it's clearly a natural phenomenon because it's round. It might just be like, a mini whirlwind or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What they did is they started making them square. Just so the experts wouldn't have, an answer for why it was perfectly square.
Yeah.
And the best bit is, when they said they'd done it, ufologists like, well, no, you can't because it's too advanced. There's no possible way you could do this. Only aliens could do this. They went, oh, okay then. We'll show you. And they went out live and just made a perfect one. And the ufologists said, no, they're trying to discredit this, alien phenomenon.
Oh, God.
And do you know what they use as the evidence for that is? It's that other crop circles appeared around the world after they started doing it.
Oh, right, okay,
and obviously, it's very easy to see that now. Other pranksters decided it'd be very funny to do. Or maybe people who just wanted, farmers who wanted to, attract attention to them.
Yeah,
so they did end up being quite a big tourist draw.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the idea that the ufologists, their actual defense for why it's not bullshit is maybe the aliens saw you doing it and then decided to join in. That's their actual argument.
Oh, God.
Isn't that good? But it was just two guys just going out in a field and they go out with a couple of bottles of beer, do it, and then go the next morning and just laugh their fucking asses off as they saw the news taking pictures of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's what an absolute just big pair of big dick legends.
Oh, God. I can't believe they got away with it for so long.
30 years, yeah. And then when they announced it, people said, no, they were lying. And then they showed, here's all the drawings, because I kept every single one showing. And here's, the photo evidence the next day when the newspapers took a picture of it, showing my exact design.
Yeah.
And no, you're making it up.
Oh, God. I don't think I'd be committed to that.
It's just so funny. It's just so good.
Yeah. I just think to myself, though, I'm like, do some people not have anything better to do with their time?
But it's one of those things, like I said, it's like the pooper, the phantom pooper as he's known, or the guy who crunched the cookies. It's funny at first, but it must be kind of addictive for the notoriety and when you hear about it. Because these guys, they would they would gleefully read stories about it and would deliberately go out of their way to fuck with the experts who were trying to debunk it. By saying, well, it's clearly this because the patterns are circular. So they started making them square. It's oh, man. It's so good.
I'm really surprised that, knowing humans, it wasn't just immediately a penis.
Oh, man. You know they would have done.
Yeah.
But I'm very surprised. That idea, though, that his wife is you're having an affair. It's no, I'm crushing wheat with Dave. It's is that what you call it then?
Oh, God. I mean, that's one reason to come clean.
Oh, man, it's so funny to me that we did it for 20 years and the experts, the UFO experts, no, the aliens probably just saw it and decided to join in. The aliens probably thought it was mad hype and thought, yeah, I can do this too. Yay. Let's get on it, lads.
Of all ways for aliens to contact us, just crush some wheat in a field in a very specific pattern.
And just think about as well how pervasive that is now in pop culture. That's the film Signs is based entirely around the concept of aliens doing that, and it's based solely on something two drunk Englishmen did for a laugh in the 70s.
I mean, it's probably the best thing that M. Night Shyamalan's going to come up with. So.
Well, it's the flying saucer. Do you know why we think flying saucers look like flying saucers?
Is it a Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
It's not. It's a mistranslation of the actual description that a Air Force person gave.
Oh, really?
It's one of the very earliest reports of a UFO, an unidentified flying object. He didn't say it looked like a saucer. He said it moved like a saucer.
Oh, right. Okay.
He said it moved like a saucer being thrown through the air. So like a disc, like a frisbee or something like that. And I think he actually described it as being cigar-shaped, so like a rocket ship.
Oh, okay.
That got mistranslated, and obviously, the telephone game of history decided that no, he actually said it was saucer-like, and they thought that meant it looked like a saucer, and that's where the flying saucer image came from.
Fair enough.
And it's really funny, obviously, because that was something that was had no basis in the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
But pop culture nabbed onto it, and now people think UFOs like flying saucers. And people are making hoax videos, to try and push that idea, or make their UFOs look like saucers. Even though if you want to go with the original report of a UFO, it should absolutely look like a cigar.
Oh, okay. That's fair enough.
Really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, if we should just go make one that looks like a cigar.
Well, that's how you do it, but I just like that idea that they're not supposed to. The only reason they look like discs is because people misunderstood what that guy meant when he was reporting it to his superiors, because he was like from the deep south.
Yeah.
His speech was a little bit off, so it's like, oh, it's saucer-like, and he meant in his movements, not his look.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man, people are stupid, eh?
Yeah.
But just think about now, how many people, actual people who actually believe it, think that aliens flying saucers, even though there is literally no evidence to support that.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's all based on a mistranslation or a misunderstanding of one guy's comment in the 1950s.
Yeah. I find that so weird that, our entire, idea of this random object is just based off what one person said.
Yeah, and we got it wrong.
We got it wrong anyway. And then it's just, oh yeah, well, this guy saw some random thing. Oh yeah, okay. Let's just believe him and let every single person just share the idea of this one guy that got mistranslated.
Well, the thing is, though, you can't believe him actually. He did see something, or he believed that he did, and he did describe it. It's just that the description of it is something we got. It was misinterpreted, and it's really funny to me.
Yeah.
And the only reason that we think aliens driving spaceships that look like discs is because this guy was really bad at describing what he saw that day. And it's like, oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, and there was that. I don't know if you saw, there was all those apparent real leaked videos of.
Oh man, that story is great. Did you hear who
UFO
leaked
stuff.
them? Did you not hear who was the person who leaked them?
Wasn't it I can't remember his name, but someone from Blink 182 or
Yes,
something?
it was Tom DeLonge.
Oh, okay.
He's super into aliens.
Yeah.
And he got sent that by somebody, we don't know who. Obviously, he's a big famous rock star. Of course, he's got friends in high places or fans in high places. And he posted it on Twitter. And the government had to come out. I think the Air Force went, yeah, those weren't meant to be released. They are classified.
Oh, God.
We're looking into where Mr. DeLonge got his information. Because people don't know this, but yeah, Tom DeLonge from Blink 182 is super obsessed with aliens, which is why he wrote the song "Aliens Exist." And I think something a friend of mine mentioned, that can't be true. I looked it up, and it was when Chester Bennington died.
Oh, right, okay.
Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park.
Yeah.
Tom DeLonge tweeted something out or wrote in his book or something like that. Oh yeah, you're out in space now. And he tried to use the death of his friend to push this whole alien thing. It's oh man, come on.
Yeah.
The dude's dead, man. Don't drag him into this. Then again, 5 years later, he went and just published actual UFO footage from the government. That the government's we didn't want anyone to see this.
Oh God.
We don't understand this.
No, I mean, I don't know you, but personally, I don't see how there's any chance that we're the only life forms in the entire universe.
Oh yeah, I don't believe there's little green men that are coming down.
No, I really don't think oh yeah, we've got loads of aliens making crop circles and sitting on Mars just waiting for us and shit like this.
It's more fascinating to me that the most powerful government on the earth sees something and doesn't know what the fuck it is. It doesn't even need to be of extraterrestrial origin to be a fascinating story. It's these are ships or objects in the environment that the collective minds of the US government can't understand.
Yeah.
And that to me is fascinating, because this could be some high-tech ship from some foreign power that they just cannot understand, and that's amazing to think that's out there. Also terrifying.
It is terrifying.
The largest, most powerful military on Earth can't discern what the fuck this thing is with all the technology it has access to. It's oh god. Bad times, but it's...
Turns out it was just a lollipop stick flying away in the wind.
We never know.
You never know.
There is a lot of those videos though, but what always cracks me up about it though is that conspiracy theories always have to make it silly. The actual story itself, like I said, breaking it down there is just something in the air and we don't know what it is more fascinating than it's aliens.
Oh yeah.
The mystery to me is more intriguing than just no, it's aliens. What aliens? We don't know. But it's aliens. It's like, oh man, but then we don't get to talk about it. It's just you just say it's aliens, and there's no fun there. Part of the fun is like the mystery, like what could it be? How can we explain it? And all the different interpretations of what it could be. And then
what if it is some like top secret, like military or like organisation that?
Well, that to me is more
just
interesting.
Creating these weird things in the sky that we don't know what they are.
Because that's technology that could potentially be used, like advance humanity, or perhaps wipe it off the face of the earth. But you've got to take these risks when it comes to shit. Oh man! But again, this reminds me of like the whole moon landing conspiracy theory. That again was similarly started by one guy who just said, "I smelled a rat that day." Basically, that was his whole thing. He watched the moon landing on TV and just went, "Nah." That was his whole thing, and he wrote a book saying like, "Oh no, it's all fake." And someone asked him, "Well, how do you know?" He went, "Oh, because I'm a rocket scientist." And they looked at his credentials and went, "Well, no, you weren't. You worked for a company that made rockets as a copywriter." So you don't actually have any background in engineering. And his whole thrust of the moon landing conspiracy theory was, I saw one report in the 1950s that said the success rate of a manned mission to the moon was like 5%.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
And then a decade later, they can somehow land man on the moon perfectly. It doesn't make any sense. So I should point out that report he says that he saw, as far as anyone can tell, does not exist. So it's it was either so classified no one's seen it, except for a guy who had no clearance credentials and worked as a copywriter, somehow stumbled upon it in the 1960s, or he was just making shit up. But anyway, his original book alleging the moon landing is a fascinating read. Not the one What he did is he re-released it a couple of times over the years as parts of his story fell apart to make them make more sense. Meanwhile, the moon landing, the thing he says is a conspiracy, the story from NASA has never once deviated from the way they've told it, and there are reams and reams of physical evidence proving that's the case. But whatever, let's talk about his, because one of my favourite things he suggests is that they didn't actually go to the moon, they filmed it live on a sound stage.
Yeah, like in LA somewhere.
No, in Nevada. In Area 51, because it's not it's not a conspiracy theory unless it involves Area 51.
Yeah, of course.
And he alleges that they filmed the actual footage of the moon landing. The footage that would be recorded, the footage that would be viewed billions of times.
Oh yeah.
The world over, studied by every nation on Earth until the end of time, with a 10-second delay. So if they would have made a mistake, they would have had 10 seconds to fix it to stop the entire world noticing it.
Yep.
He also said that when they were supposed to be in space, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and the other guy whose name I forget, and I'm really sorry to that guy because he wasn't on the moon, wandered around Nevada and even got into a fist fight while they were there. And then he said then they went to Area 51 where they were accompanied by Vegas strippers.
Of course,
who were apparently sworn to secrecy. And this is the detail that I love the most, because this is clearly something that he just pulled out of his arse and made up to try and make it sound like he knew what he was talking about. They ate cheese sandwiches before putting on their fake spacesuits.
What?
Yeah. He actually clarified what they had. He for some reason knew what the catering was for this event, despite it apparently being the singular most secretive conspiracy ever concocted by the government.
Not one other person has any shred of evidence that it wasn't real,
but he knows
that they had cheese sandwiches,
and no one has ever corroborated this with any physical evidence whatsoever. But afterwards, obviously, when this book started to gain traction, he realised, oh shit, that makes me sound like a crazy person. So he changed his story, because that's the hallmark of something that's factually correct. He's just changing details wildly on a whim. He said that they actually did go to space, but they didn't land on the moon, and they showed pre-aired footage shot by Stanley Kubrick.
What?
And I love that conspiracy theory because there's a great counter to it of, well, Stanley Kubrick did film the moon landing, but he was such a perfectionist and a stickler for realism that he actually demanded they film it on location. But it's just the idea of they got into a fist fight in Vegas, hung out with strippers and recorded it on a 10-second delay. And any number of those things should discount it immediately. But now this is the most pervasive conspiracy theory to exist.
Yeah, exactly.
And the origins of it are just some crazy guy going, I smelled a rat that day. So it's a step beyond like the people with like cork boards trying to link everyone and their mother to like the assassination of JFK.
Yeah.
Which is another conspiracy theory that I absolutely adore because there is a single fact that always gets overlooked that completely debunks every single conspiracy theory. Do you know what it is? Have you ever seen like one of the things? You ever heard the magic bullet?
Oh, because it like curved or whatever.
Yes, and the magic bullet says, we couldn't have been shot by the same thing because the bullet mysteriously shifted like 2 feet in the air from where it was shot. And what they don't realise is the car that Kennedy was in wasn't just a run-of-the-mill car. It had a raised seat in the back.
Oh, right.
So that he could sit up so the public could see him because he's waving to the public.
Oh, okay.
And every single calculation used by conspiracy theorists uses like, a standard, I think it's a Cadillac.
Yeah,
and they show the line showing that, the bullet had to jump through the air. And if you put onto that like the extra foot of height Kennedy would have had by being sat on this specially raised platform constructed for that event so the public could see him and he could wave to them, like the bullet perfectly matches the trajectory.
Oh, right.
So rather than admit that, they just ignore it and hope that people don't know that that's a thing.
Yeah, of course.
And that's just, to me, just amazing. Like, they just hope that you don't know that fact
it's
about...
like, just take out that bit of information and then it all makes sense.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. If you ignore the thing that makes it make sense, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of conspiracies where they all fall apart. Like, the moon landing one's got to be the best one, though.
I mean, I just think the best one is the fucking flat Earth conspiracies.
Oh, yeah, man.
And it's like, the Earth is flat. We have pictures and video evidence that it's
They're all
round.
doctored by NASA. What about when you send a camera up, like a GoPro on a balloon with a dildo? Oh, no, NASA gets to it first.
Yeah.
What about when you're in a plane? It's the curvature of the windows. And my favourite one, though, is just asking them why.
Yeah.
Not like, let's pretend it's real. Let's pretend the Earth is flat, that everything we know about physics is wrong, that we are actually and that we're constantly on a large disk, constantly flying into the atmosphere, like at ever increasing acceleration, despite the fact we would eventually break the speed of light and explode into whatever. Let's ignore all that. And just ask, what is there to gain by lying about this? And do you know what they always say? It's so we'll continue to fund NASA. You know that God. Agency that's constantly begging for money because it keeps getting defunded? It's like, oh man, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, that is one conspiracy theory that I'm just like, okay, well, other conspiracy theories, you
can kind of see them.
Like, no real way to, like, outwardly tell people, we have, X and Y to prove that this happened.
And it's a lot of them. There's a lot of complicated stuff you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to understand a lot about like physics and stuff like that. But like with the one about flat Earth, it's like you can look out the fucking window.
Yeah.
You can just see it. It's not hard. It's like nobody throughout... I don't think any point in history has it ever been widely held that the Earth was flat. Ever. We've always known it was round. Because the earliest explorers noted that you didn't fall off the fucking edge of the world and they could see the curvature of the horizon.
Yeah.
Oh,
so if the Earth is flat, why does the horizon disappear?
No, what they're saying is it goes off the edge.
No, yeah, it does. Yeah.
I still love that. Have you ever seen that? It's a great tweet from someone who's like, I got kicked out of a Flat Earth believers group on Facebook for sharing the forbidden image. And
What's the forbidden image?
It's an image of like a meteor hitting the flat Earth, and it flips, and all the dinosaurs fly into space. It's like the forbidden image. It's so good.
Oh my God.
Oh, man, I love that one. That's so fucking good.
You know what? Now I want to believe that the flat Earth exists just because of that.
I just love how many celebrities believe it though. It's crazy. I think like AJ Styles, the wrestler, believes like Shaquille O'Neal believes it. B.O.B. the rapper. Well, they've not, but they've expressed interest in the thing. Said, they've got some good ideas. It's like, well, no, they haven't.
Yeah.
Like, you're rich. Go speak to someone who knows.
Have you seen the one where it's just like,
who's just like the worst and believes like the Sandy Hook conspiracy?
Oh yeah,
Oh come on! Like, you couldn't even believe like one of the funny ones.
one of the stupid ones.
You have to believe the one that's like horribly offensive to like hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
You have to believe the one that actively makes the lives of like grieving parents worse. Why couldn't you just be like, fellow wrestler AJ Styles and think the Earth is flat?
Have you seen the one that's like the guy just gets the like level balance?
Oh, he takes it on a plane.
And he just takes it on a plane, yeah. And
He's
it's like...
turbulent, and he sees it all up. It's not moving because it wouldn't go on a fucking plane. The plane's flat, you idiot.
Well, the plane's fucking flat.
It's so good. I am genuinely surprised that we haven't had someone try and open the door to a plane.
Oh yeah,
I'm genuinely surprised that hasn't happened yet. That's someone like who's crazy enough to like think this is real and think it's a massive global conspiracy and that everyone's against them.
I'm sure someone's tried.
And then it's been like, immediately tackled by like airplane security.
Yeah.
Like an air marshal or something, just whoop their ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Like just like the stewardesses on the plane, just like tackling them down to the ground.
Oh, it's like air marshals. They're not so much a thing in the UK, but they're a really big thing in America. And I remember watching a documentary about this where, like, do you want to guess what the point of an air marshal is? It's probably fairly self-explanatory.
I mean, I would just presume it's like to have, somebody undercover to make sure that there's no security issues or whatever.
And the operative word in your sentence there, Lucas, was undercover.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the idea behind air marshal is that they look exactly like any passenger.
Yeah,
they
exactly.
Look exactly like a holidaymaker or a businessman just traveling on a plane, and they put them on random flights or ones that are deemed to be high risk. Just keep an eye out, just in case,
Yeah, just in case anything happens.
In case someone wants to try some shit, and they've been a thing for a while. However, following 9/11, there was like a huge push to make them more visible because people didn't feel safe on planes. So what they did is I don't know who's in charge of like air travel in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever that is issued they sent down, no more casual dress. You have to now comply with military grooming standards and wear a suit.
Yeah.
And every single air marshal currently working for the government went, that's a stupid fucking idea because then people know who we are.
Yeah.
They also said, oh no, air marshals have to be given boarding priority.
Oh, so of course,
they get.
If you see a groomed person in a suit, get on first.
Yeah. Get on first. You know that guy's got a gun. And there's a quote from one of the guys there that says, all they're doing is, and he said there's a new adage amongst terrorists where it's just shoot the guy in the suit first.
Yeah.
All they're doing is putting they're putting a massive target on the back of my head that says if anything goes wrong, they will just immediately shoot me first.
Exactly, yeah, because before they've got time to react.
Because they know that I am the only one on board who has a gun. And it's like, oh no, why would they do this?
Yeah.
It's and all the air marshals are I forget the documentary now, but it's like a really eye-opening one where they keep talking about nothing we do stops people bringing down planes. It's all theatre. If anything, they're making them more unsafe because now they know not to get on the plane that we're on, or they can see us. And it said to the point we're so easily picked out of a crowd, passengers will come up to me and say, "Thank you for your service." It's like, no, that's the exact opposite of what we're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, if they are terrorists and they do have guns or whatever, anything like that, of someone trying to create a hostage situation or whatever, the first thing they're going to do is shoot that guy and make sure that he's not a problem.
And it's just, oh no, it's so harsh. But the government, we need to be seen like we're doing something. It's like we are. And it's probably a better idea if we're hidden, because that way no one knows how many of us there are or what flights we're on.
Because if you don't know who it is,
then
every single flight there's a potential for somebody to be an air marshal.
Yeah, there's a great breakdown of this. It's like an Israeli a security consultant who works for airports in Israel.